guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Hyundai in Newport Richey, and what we have is something that a lot of you have been waiting for. This is a 2019 Hyundai Elantra GT N-Line. So let's talk a little bit about Hyundai. Believe it or not, Hyundai's been selling cars here in the United States since 1987. And one of those cars, the Hyundai Excel hatchback, is really like the great-great-great-grandfather of this car. But it's very fascinating because what Hyundai has done is basically like a mini Rocky story. During the 1970s, the Japanese car companies were able to surpass the American car companies by offering value, reliability, all that good stuff. Well, even with their humble beginnings in 1987 and a little bit of a rocky patch here and there, Hyundai has turned it around. They have great reliability. They have a warranty, 5 years bumper to bumper, that's gonna get you covered, 10 years powertrain, and now where they're going with their vehicles is for us enthusiasts, some actual sport, some actual performance. So what I'm very proud to say is with this Elantra GT N-Line, it's not that they just put a badge on it and changed the front fascia. They actually did bring some extra performance. Now, unfortunately, the performance is not under the hood, but it's gonna be located at all four corners. But let's go ahead and dive into this Elantra GT N-Line, because N, remember, is their performance brand of their lineup. So right off the bat, you can see the aggressive styling they went with by changing the whole front fascia. I don't know if Tom can pick up in the nice sun here, the sparkle of this Summit Gray. Very, very nice color. I love the headlights, gives it a nice sinister look, and you can see all the addition, this is all changed. Functional air scoop on the side to channel that air. You do have this faux piece here, but I like it because it's not trying to look like a grill or something like that. It just has some design to it to help flow that air. As we work our way across the front, I'm really liking what Hyundai is doing with their open grille design. It brings a cohesiveness to all their models, whether you're looking at a Santa Fe, a Tucson, a Kona, Ioniq, whatever. This lower portion, very, very tasteful, lower lip spoiler. I wish this came out just a little bit further. From corner to corner and in the front here, I just wish this lower lip spoiler was a little bit further out. But right from the beginning, you can see just the nice styling. I like the silver. I'm glad that they made it a nice flat silver rather than something shiny. Now remember, over in Europe, this car is called the i30, and they're lucky enough to have the i30N. What we have in the United States that has that N badge is the Veloster N, which I'll put that link at the end of the video. Amazing car, lots of performance. I hope that they make an Elantra GT N. But with this N-Line, you're getting some great style, and you're getting it at a great price. Let's go ahead and work down the side. Really think it's smart how they took that flat black, wrapped it all the way around the front, and then check out these wheels. It's an 18-inch wheel. These are specific to this model. You can't get any other Elantra product with these wheels. I like the light gray. I like the silver. Very, very attractive wheel, and I think they hit the nail, especially with the Summit Gray color. Now, hiding underneath these fenders are stiffer springs, so you're gonna get N-Line specific springs. 14% stiffer at the front, out back 22% stiffer. That's gonna help make this thing handle like the business, and I really am glad to see that there's actual performance, not just show, there's go that goes with this. So as we continue down the side, another N-Line specific are the black painted mirrors. I like it, it's a nice touch, very thin LED lighting. As we come down the roof, one thing I wish that this did have, I'm sure many of you are probably saying, is a sunroof. No sunroof on the N-Line. But just from the side profile, the way the doors are and whatnot, excellent. Now, if I'm gonna zonk this area, I wish they would have done something with the sill to make it blend in a little bit better with the front and the back, because the front and the back look so aggressive. Just a little bit extra aggressiveness, I think would have went a long way. As we continue to work our way back, I think they really hit the nail on the head with the design of this. And remember, this is a direct competitor for that Volkswagen Golf GTI, and they really have done a great job with the overall shape and design. Coming out back, this is an N-Line specific black roof spoiler, very tasteful. I wish that it had a little bit more of a kick up or something, just to show that performance intention rather than it just being black. But as we drop down to the back of the car, Here's where they just knocked it right out of the park. It's like somebody just pitched it underhand and they just knocked it out of the park. Grand slam. I love the rear diffuser here. Even with some faux vent, it's tasteful, it's small. I love the separation here of the lower plane, and it's got an awesome dual exhaust to it. And I really think just overall, the back of the Elantra GT hatchback, it's just a smart looking car, great with the taillight design, really aggressive, and then you have that N-line badge. Now, I'm technically gonna zonk this because look at this. If I cover this up, that's the same N badge that they put on that i30N or the Veloster N. To me, they're gonna need to have a little bit more separation between N and N-line. But you know what? For somebody who wants that extra flair and the badging, they get it with this one. But let's go ahead and see what we're working with underneath the hood. All right, guys, here we are underneath the hood of the 2019 Hyundai Elantra GT N-line. There it is. That is the same engine from the GT Sport. So what you're looking at is a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, 201 horsepower, 195 foot-pounds of torque. This one is mated to a 7-speed DCT. That's a dual clutch transmission. What's amazing is, remember on the Elantra GTs, you could also get a standard 6-speed manual, which is great. This thing with that N-line, it's not just about badges. Underneath these four corners, like I said, the stiffer suspension. And what's great with the newer Elantras is that they have that multi-link rear suspension. This thing has a multi-link rear suspension with the 21% stiffer springs, and that is going to help make this handle like no tomorrow. Now, if you're wondering, well, how much does this car weigh? It weighs a tick over 3,000 pounds. It's like 3,027 pounds, 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds flat. So you could see that for 201 horsepower in this package, quite comparable to that Golf GTI. Let's go ahead and fire it up. All right, guys, time to dive in head first into this GT N-line. And you know what? There's some nice surprises. Now, if you're wondering, before I let the cat out of the bag, the rabbit jumps out of the cake, let me tell you what the price is on this. So MSRP is around $24,000. Definitely want to give Bill Parenti a call because they have this marked down to about $22,000. So you're getting a lot of car for the money. Let's go to the door panels. Door panels, I'm glad we're going to get them out of the way because it's zonk filled. A lot of dark black plastic. Now, at the top of the door panel, the material is softer. I like that. I just wish and I pray that Hyundai will eventually take some of the beautiful red that they have in the interior section where I'm sitting and splash it on the door. What is nice though, in that lower door panel, you have 3 openings for all different beverages. So if you're extremely thirsty and you're in your GT N-line and you have passengers, especially one up front, you're gonna make them very happy because they can have a plethora of liquids to take from. Now, as we come to the dash, nice soft material. This is what I'm telling you about. Look at this trim here. It almost looks like anodized aluminum. Splash some of that red onto the doors. I think the little extra cost would go such a big way. You have a large 8-inch infotainment screen. It's that iPad style. You have the gloss black. The nice thing about the gloss black around it, you're not really touching that. Now, if you want to, yeah, you could put your fingerprints all over it, but it's got that wonderful swipe feature, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, real easy to use. The graphics are great. The fonts are great. With this car, you are going to be able to go into different drive modes, and we'll show you that when you come over to the driver's side. But you see how they went black here? This is where that red should have continued. As we drop down, you have dual climate control, very easy to understand, very easy to navigate through. And then yes, this is Rady's Ride approved. It's got a cover for the center console here. So you open this up, you have USB, you have an aux jack, you also have a 12 volt in there, and a nice little storage cubby area to put your phone. And then when you're not using it or you want to hide what's ever in there, just close it up. Look at this. This looks like it's straight out of an Audi. I'm telling you that right now. This is what is going to be controlling that 7-speed DCT transmission. I love the M badge. I love the red. And yes, I'm going to go for a third love. I love the perforated leather. Really looks tasteful. And I'm telling you, if you cover this up, and I didn't tell you where we're at, this thing looks like it's from an Audi. The silver trim, everything. You do have heated seats, no ventilated seats, and you have a drive mode selector where you could go through 2 different modes, normal and sport. I like the way they brought the red into the shift boot. And then right here, here's another Rady's Rides approved, a sliding cover for the cup holder. When you look at your key fob, it's your standard Hyundai key fob. I would like to see the N badge on here. They put it here. I think that would be a little extra touch, but very nice key fob. And then close that right up. You have your electric e-brake, a nice little area to put like a phone or some pencils. Maybe you're gonna write some notes about what you're gonna say to Hyundai to get this more power or something like that. You can keep that all here. Very tasteful armrest. It's like a faux leather with the red trim. I'm sure you're hearing the firefighters, lots of action. They're having sales here. The things are on fire. That's how big things are going here. But open it up. You have lots of storage, another 12 volt, and then you know what? This is the crescendo for me. This is the climax on the passenger side. I love these seats. They're full leather. I like the red piping, the red stitching, and the perforated material. Also has the M badge embossed into the backrest. Extra touches that I like to see. Why don't you come on over and I'll show you the business end behind the wheel of this Elantra GT M-Line. Let's do it. Come on over. All right, guys, business end behind the wheel of this 2019 Elantra GT M-Line. You know, I was loving the seats. I still love them, but the thing that I love even more about this interior is the steering wheel. I love the size. I love the thickness of it, the shape, even the red cross stitching all the way around the inside. It's got a little bit of gloss black, but it's out of the way. You're not gonna have to worry about putting your fingerprints on it. And it's got a beautiful N badge right there to stare at you to say, hey, you got something a little bit extra. Pretty large paddles mounted to the steering wheel to go up and down that 7-speed dual clutch transmission. If you ever wondered, why do they call it dual clutch? The way that it works is, say you're in 4th gear, for example. What is going to happen is that 5th gear is going to be spinning freely and 3rd gear is going to be spinning freely. So that depending on whether you go up or down the gearbox, it's going to be lightning fast compared to your standard automatic transmission. Now, as we look at the gauges, one thing that I wish that they would have done was just brought a little bit more flair. I keep talking about that red trim color. It would look so good around that infotainment section in the center. That's where you're able to switch from your modes. You see how now we're in sport, now we're not. It's like abracadabra. We also have a nice analog speedometer and an analog tachometer, so that's easy to see. Push button start, keyless entry, seat position's great. They even go, when I talk about the fine details, Hyundai even takes care of you when it comes to pedals. So you're gonna have the aluminum brake pedal, gas pedal, and a very large dead pedal, which remember, for those who have not listened to me yet, a dead pedal is not just a place to rest your foot. It's a place that when you're doing a nice twisty road or maybe an autocross event, that's gonna allow you to brace yourself and support yourself while you're going through those bends. But let's go ahead and see what kind of fun your passengers are gonna be having in the back seat. All right, guys, back seat time of the 2019 Elantra GT M-Line. You know what? It's actually not too bad. 6 feet tall. I did not move the seat. So this is where I had the seat position for me. So if you have a tall driver and you're tall, you're still gonna have a pretty good amount of room back here. You'll notice that they did go with the harder backs, and a lot of the Hyundai products have that. To me, I wish they would wrap it full in leather, but I know for a lot of you that have kids, this, I guess, will take a better beating. I don't know, but this just looks cheap and flimsy. I like, though, how they give you rear AC, and this is what I'm telling you. It's like did they like just cover their eyes and just blindly put red trim? Because the red trim here really brightens it up. And then when it comes to the seats, that same wonderful leather. I like the seating position. You're sitting really nice and upright, and you can see I have plenty of headroom here, which is gonna help you be a little bit more comfortable on those longer drives. Now, would I wanna stay here for a 400-mile trip? Not really, but it is very supportive and comfortable. When it comes to center armrests, nice supportive. You got your 2 cup holders, real easy to do. Why don't we go ahead, and probably the biggest part of any hatchback is under that hatch. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, tail end of the business. Time to open up the back of the hatch. Real simple, right underneath here. So light, lifts right up, and then you can see a very large opening, good space. Those seats are gonna do the 60-40 Tango split. Put those down, and then you could put just about anything in the back of this Elantra GT. I do want to point out, I'm gonna have Tom pan to the right here. It even has a 12 volt. Tom and I have been doing a lot of car reviews. There's been SUVs that we do that are double the price of this thing that does not have a 12 volt in the back. So it's nice to see that Hyundai actually thought this through, knew that possibly, hey, you go to the beach, you got some kids, they got one of those crazy big rafts they want inflated, why huff and puff with your lungs? Get yourself a nice 12 volt air compressor and power it up, and then you're good to go, and then they're out of your hair. But anyways, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and take this one for a spin.
Hold on, a Hyundai Newport Richie. We're in the 2019 Hyundai Elantra GT N line, and right away, I'm loving it. Now, would I prefer to have the manual? Sure. But this 7-speed DCT is gonna be a lot of fun, and what I'm glad to say, like I said before, is that there is some extra performance. Now, it's not that easy performance that everybody loves where you just get more horsepower. It comes in the way of the suspension. And what that's gonna do is that if you know how to drive, you're gonna be able to reap the benefits of that stiffer suspension. And that's what I love about these types of cars. You know, we've done the Mazda RF, Miata RF, we've done the Veloster, and we've done so many different cars, so many different amounts of horsepower. To be honest with you, some of the most fun car to drives are the ones with the lowest amount of horsepower. So that's just something to remember when it comes to an actual driver's car. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide the stick into manual mode. Now you could use the shifter to go up and down the gears. I'm gonna use the paddles. Right now I'm in third and we're on throttle. On the brakes, tipping this left-hand bend. Oh, great feedback. Roll on the throttle. Nice. On the brakes, right-hand bend here. I can feel the change. I've driven the Sport non-N line and I can feel the difference. On the brakes, downshift. Ooh, I love what's happening with the rear end of the car. That multi-link with the stiffer springs is really doing its business back there and communicating to me so very nicely. Really liking the gearbox. The DCT shifts very, very quick and it's very, very smooth. So I really, really like that. Let me see if I could go ahead and pass this slower vehicle here real quick. Thank you, sir. Downshift. On the brakes. Now the brakes have not been beefed up. They are using different pads, but the rotor size and whatnot is still the same as the Sport. It feels really good. Great brake modulation. On the brakes, down into third. Man, I'm really loving the feedback from this car. The front, with this being front wheel drive, you would think that the front would just plow that corner, but it really, really sticks, and it's giving me great feedback to where I could actually feel the tire rolling over on the wheel as we put that weight into the turn, depending on which way we're going. So nice, and I think Hyundai did a great job with the suspension setup in this car. Downshift fourth into third. I wish the engine had some more noise. I need some more noise from the exhaust. Nothing obnoxious, but just something to say, hey, this is what the car is doing, because I'm having to look down at the gauges to see exactly where I am in the rev range, and I don't like to do my business that way. I like to do my business if I'm hustling down a twisty road where I'm just using my ears to listen to what's happening and the feel of what the suspension's doing. I'm able to use the feel, but when it comes to the actual sound, it's just not there, and I'm wasting too much time going and looking at the gauges. I'm gonna do a quick 3-point turn here just to get us back, and we'll be back in 1 second. Going through this bend, it just asks to really be pushed harder. Really nice. I really think that Hyundai has done a great job with this N line. It's a good middle ground between the full-blown N and just a GT Sport. I wish it had a little bit more power. Wish it had a little bit larger brake rotor. I think that would pay big dividends, but overall a fun car to drive, and at an affordable price, which is the biggest factor. But we're gonna do a little bit more driving, so give us one more second. All right, guys, I put it into sport mode and we're driving around. Want to take you back through those twisty bends. I'm in 7th gear. Remember, this is a 7-speed DCT, but here we go. On the throttle, on brakes, 6th, 5th, 4th, tip it in. Nice feedback coming out of the turn. Little bit of push in that one. I went a little hard down into the turn, but let's see here in this right-hand bend. Nice, very nicely done. I wish there still was more sound. I wish there was a little bit more sound on the brakes. Nice, look at that. Very controllable. I can feel what the front and the back is doing on the brakes. Very quiet in the cabin, coming out of the turn on the heat. That DCT, very, very fast shifts. On the brakes. I really like how the front and the back communicates with one another in this car. Very nicely done. Let me slow down, get a little bit of gap here between us and that car in front of us. I'm gonna try this again, do a little bit more. I'm really loving so far what's going on here. That turbocharged 1.6 liter has enough pep. Would I like a little bit more? Sure, but what I do like is this. Turn in. Great feel. The front end is not plowing whatsoever into that turn. And what I mean by plowing is in a right-hand bend, the car is not understeering. It's not going and just turning left when I'm trying to turn right. You have understeer, that's when the front end pushes. You have oversteer, that's when the back end comes around. I'm getting a great balance here. Very nice balance from this car. Brake modulation's great. The brakes feel good. Now, over a long course of tossing this all over the place, how would they feel after that? I'm not sure, but for right now, they're feeling really great. Coming out 3rd gear, shifts very quick with that DCT. On the brakes, downshift. Tip it in, nice, very nice feel from the front of the car. And that's the tough part, is in a front wheel drive car, a lot of times it's hard to give that feedback, but with this N line, this just makes me say, Hyundai, bring over the GTN already. We need the N car over here. On the brakes, downshift, very nice. I'm loving this thing. I really, really am. Holding the gear, on the brakes, nice. The way it lays the power down is very smooth, very efficient. You're not waiting for the boost. I just wish it had a little bit more horsepower. If this thing had another 25, 30 horsepower, it would be right there with the Volkswagen GTI. And you know what? The way that the handling is, with that kind of power, you may be leaving the GTI behind. But overall, steering wheel is great. Love the leather, love the feel, love the look. Everything else is perfect on this GT N line. And for the price, right now they got it on their website for 22 grand. There's not a lot of other options out there, to be honest with you. So definitely want to go and check this one out. Anyways, I hope I gave you enough. We're gonna have to get back and move on to the next review to keep them coming, but we'll be back in a split second.
All right, guys, been a wonderful day here at Hyundai Newport Richey. Definitely got to give a huge shout out and thank you to Bill Parenti and everybody here at the dealership, opening up the doors, getting this N line just for us, just for you. If these are the types of things you like to see on Rady's Rides, leave a little comment in that comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Make sure you check out my different forms of social media. You know what they're called. It's all Rady's Rides original content all the time. If you want to get yourself some merch, click that link in the description. It takes you right to Spreadshirt. And then, of course, Big Guns McGee, you know what? He slammed down a ribeye the size of my body right before the shoot, because guess what? This week he has his powerlifting competition. So wish him some luck. Check him out on Instagram at Mosh Photos. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.